Why I rarely panic. Hi everyone, Leo Notenboom here for askleo.com. It should be obvious, I think, I've got a fairly laid-back style. I don't have the excitable reactions that honestly get a lot of attention on video. A lot of people look for more energy, more excitement, more panic in the information that they consume online. It's, as you know, clickbait headlines are the things that get people to click through and view things. Several years ago, there was a story about a flaw that could be exploited by hackers to get into just about any PC. It was a flaw called Heartbleed. It actually was a vulnerability in the actual processor of many different machines. Now, there was a lot of press about this. A lot of clickbait headlines that really made it seem like it was the end of the world or the end of computing, that everybody's machine was at risk, and that all of a sudden everything would fall apart. Needless to say, years after the fact, that didn't happen. It was a serious problem, don't get me wrong. The issue was something that warranted a serious investigation by people who would be responsible for repairing the issue. Here's the problem. After the inundation of all these different news stories, there was almost nothing that you or I, as average consumers, could do, other than just paying attention to what's happening to our accounts, our banks, our credit cards, the stuff that we should be paying attention to anyway. There was nothing more we could really do about this. The folks who were most impacted were the folks who deal with servers, online servers. There were issues where, one website could potentially see what was going on another website at a very, very weird level. The bottom line, though, is that you and I had nothing to do. The server maintainers, they were on it. They dealt with it. It ended up having no effect. The big thing here is that there's a really powerful incentive to make headlines as clickbaity as possible. The goal is to get people to look at it. The way you do that as an online publisher is to make your headline as sensational as possible. There's a huge incentive to have really scary headlines because those are the kinds of things that people will click on. Those are the kinds of things that people will panic over. Panic never, ever helps. That extreme urgency leads to really bad decisions. For example, maybe somebody did stop using their computer because of this problem. There was no need. I have seen people make some really, really bad decisions out of panic. My advice, be aware. Pay attention to the news, to the headlines, but be skeptical. Understand the motivation behind so many of these headlines. It's really important for most media outlets to publish things that you'll click on. That means headlines will be over-sensationalized and often downright misleading. Understand that 9 times out of 10, when we see these stories, they're not nearly as severe as they are made out to be. The system generally works, be it through updates, be it through things that do and do not actually impact you. Skepticism is your single best tool to make sure that you don't make decisions out of fear and panic. For updates, for comments, for related links and more on this topic and this issue, visit askleo.com/14069. I'm Leo Notenboom, and this is askleo.com. Thanks for watching.